What is the most cliché sci-fi weapon? A blaster, of course, and GURPS has them in GURPS Ultratech. The category of weapons is called particle accelerators, and it is comprised of three subcategories: charged particle beams, neutral particle beams, and anti-particle beams. They accelerate different types of particles with an electromagnetic or gravitic field to produce a beam. All three subcategories are not superscience weapons. Charged particle beams, also known as blasters, appear at TL-10 as heavy vehicular cannons and at TL-11 as man-portable weapons, where they compete with rainbow lasers, grav guns, and electromagnetic guns. Blasters deal tight beam burning surge damage with an armor divisor of 5. Compared to rainbow lasers, they have shorter range, lower ammo capacity, slightly lower accuracy, lower rate of fire, higher penetration, higher price, but they also are not stopped by prism smoke. Blasters also have the surge modifier, which means that they may short out electronics, which is nice on high TLs. Blasters only work well in atmosphere. In a vacuum, the beam defocuses, half accuracy rounding it up, and divide range by 5. As an upside, the blaster beam is invisible in a vacuum. GURPS Ultratech designers' notes seem to imply that this decrease in range and accuracy also happens in trace atmosphere. There is one special option for blasters, the Omni blasters. They cost twice as much, but they have a non-lethal stun setting. Switching between the lethal and non-lethal modes requires a ready maneuver. When set to stun, the victim takes no damage, but must make an HT roll at -1 per die of normal damage of the blaster, or fall unconscious for margin of failure minutes. When used in stun mode, the Omni Blaster has an armor divisor of 3 instead of 5. This is better than an electro laser, but it costs a lot. Despite many of the shortcomings, blasters have a place in TL-11 games, and do not overshadow or get overshadowed by other types of weaponry. The second subtype is a neutral particle beam. These weapons were introduced in GURPS Ultratech designers notes that are available for free and are linked in the description, and then slightly updated in Pyramid 337 in the beam weapon design article. Honestly, I don't think I understand clearly how they work. The designer's notes say that they appear 1 TL after the blasters, but still list them as TL-10. Pyramid 337 lists them as TL-10 weapons as cannons, and TL-11 weapons as handheld weapons, just like blasters. The designer's notes do not say anything about the damage type, implying that it stays the same as for a blaster, but Pyramid 337 says that they deal tight beam burning damage with the surge and radiation modifiers. However, it does not list an armor divisor, which is worrying. If it actually has no armor divisor, then it becomes quite an underwhelming weapon at TL-11, where all other weapons have armor divisors of 3 or 5, but if it retains the armor divisor of 5, then it is fine. The difference between the neutral particle beam and a blaster is that neutral particle beams work normally in a vacuum, but do not work in an atmosphere. However, with a ready maneuver, it can be switched to fire normal blaster shots, except using half the power, giving it twice as many shots in this mode. I also decided to check what GURPS Vehicles for the 3rd edition says about them, and that book also says that neutral particle beams work in trace atmosphere. Nothing is said about the beam being visible, but it is probably invisible. Since neutral particle beams can be used as normal blasters, they can also be omni blasters. So yeah, some things about the neutral particle beams are unclear to me. If they have no armor divisor, then they are basically blasters that can work in a vacuum without the range decrease and with very poor penetration. But there are better options for space combat at TL-11, such as X-ray lasers. So if you can explain these weapons to me, please do so in the comments. Finally, there are anti-particle beams, also known as pulsars. They appear as heavy vehicular cannons at TL11 and as handheld weapons at TL12. I should note that their header in their text has the superscience symbol, but the table does not. I do not know what is correct, but I assume that it's the table, because the beam weapon design article from Pyramid 337 does not list them as superscience weapons. They are similar to blasters in many aspects. They deal crushing, explosive, surge, radiation damage with an armor divisor of 3. The weapon table, however, only lists crushing and explosive. By the way, GURPS basic set says that this is an illegal combination of modifiers, as you can only apply the radiation modifier to a burning or toxic attack, but I think that this is the case of the basic set not being generic enough. You should also remember that explosive attacks may produce incidental fragmentation, but it's probably almost irrelevant at TL12. In air, their range is limited to 1000 yards divided by the pressure in Earth's atmospheres, but the pulsars work normally in a vacuum. That's it for these weapons, but there are some other aspects that I should mention. Pyramid 326 has rules for using particle accelerators underwater. Blasters and pulsars create a powerful steam blast that is likely to deal more harm to the user than to the target, and might even kill him. Basically, do not even try using them underwater, but if you really have to, then consult the article and have a calculator nearby. Neutral particle beams are not mentioned in the article, but since they do not work in an atmosphere, it is safe to assume that they simply do not work underwater. Finally, since particle weapons are beam weapons, they also have some additional options in GURPS Ultratech. While hotshots and overheating are absolutely fine, I suggest to stay away from field-jacketed or FTL weapons. These two options are enough to make some weapons to be a superior choice in every situation and simply make everything else obsolete. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.